Hi, hello, and good evening. It is August 1st. And I don't know. We got lots of stuff to talk about, don't we?
Yeah.
Let's just do it. Let's have some fun.
Mm.
I am Kyle Petty, and I am joined by the ever so fabulous Gina Morgino and the very, very handsome John Dunphy. This is
It's
jury
like you
duty.
didn't even believe that.
I didn't have anything prepared, and I was trying to
Oh
come up with
no.
something new. I had nothing new. I'm sorry. You look very cute. Nice haircut. Okay.
Thanks.
Um, you messed me all up now. This is
It's
Jury
all right.
Duty, your favorite Big Brother podcast. You can find us on the socials at BB Jury Duty or on our website at bbjuryduty.com. Okay. So we already did some of this with the space last night, but we
Mhm.
can still run through it anyway. So where did we leave off? We had to now qualify for HOH.
Ugh,
And
I hated it. I hate the pre-competition competitions. I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't
I
stand
excused it the first time, because we had the Florence backstage pass thing, and
Right. That I understand.
yeah, and whoever thought at that competition, they deserve to, have their idea shine. They deserve to
Absolutely.
see their game play out. Yeah, so good for you, man in the back. Thanks, but no, we don't need it anymore. But we got it anyway, and busted ass Jasmine gets the first invitation. Yeah,
Yeah. Of course she did. Of
course
course,
she
she did.
Right. I would expect nothing less.
And you know what? Honestly, what's so funny about it too is that like that was one of the last things we saw. So it's just like that.
Yep.
That I kept thinking, I was like, okay, just got to see the Ameerah blind side. Now they're gonna start the HOH comp. Maybe it'll be something quick, and we'll get one of the leftovers like back in power. And it was like, no, the only thing that we saw was Jasmine getting her letter.
yeah.
Like, give me a break.
It was like
I mean, we did. To be fair, we did see Terrence and Brittany, but like we were all so mad about Jasmine, and it didn't even matter.
It didn't even matter because, like, at least if Jasmine would have been like second or third, like, fine. The
Right,
fact that
right.
she had to be first, like, was
And
disgusting.
if memory serves, I think it was before they even cut to the first commercial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
they cut to commercial, came back to like check in, and then finished the episode. Like immediately, she had the red letter in her hand, and we were like, like why?
really gross, really gross.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, it turned out to mean nothing. So we played this game. We had to slide the blood goblet down the down the little shuffleboard thingy,
Uh-huh.
and and score the most points.
And
I'm
so
good-
now we were talking about this on the space yesterday, but if anybody in the podcast space didn't hear us talking about it, are we remembering this competition
probably
wrong? Were we remembering this competition wrong, or did it used to be that if like one falls off the table, like you have time to go back and redo one before hitting the buzzer?
Yeah, I really think you do. I really think you do, because
I
otherwise,
remember it
why
that
would
way.
there be so many goblets on the table?
And why would you have to buzz in? It wasn't a timed competition, and you just do your 3. So why was
Yeah.
anybody having to press the button if there wasn't
Right.
like some kind of a lock
lock
it in or
in.
don't?
Right.
Yeah.
I did think about that too, though. But I'm assuming that the reason that there was a timer was because if anybody tied, they would have then chosen like if Monty had 11 and a Jasmine
Was
went
it a
and she got
timer
it,
though? Like, was it being timed? Because I didn't see any kind of like clock in the corner or anything. Like,
I-
there was nothing that
I
indicated it was
saw-
timed.
It
when
was.
the person that had the highest total went up on like the winner's circle little area, they had a time behind them. Like it said Monty,
Okay.
11 points, 19 point whatever seconds. So I'm assuming like
Okay.
let's say Jasmine then came up with 11 points, they would have gone with who did it the fastest.
Sure. Okay, that makes sense.
But I do feel like I remember it like the way you guys do though. That you had another like if you had I think it was timed in a different way. Like you had like 20 seconds, and if you got to your last one and you wanted to throw one more or something, if you had 2 extra seconds,
I
forget
thought so because
exactly what it
we've
was,
seen this
but-
competition a couple of times, and I was
Yeah.
under the impression that was the rule.
Absolutely. Otherwise, what an atrocious waste of money for all those extra goblets.
Right, there were
You know,
so many.
There were so many. It looked like you were like as if you were going to be making all these attempts. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. But I guess 3 cheers for Jasmine for participating in her first comp in weeks.
Right, as long as she's participating, I'll keep my mouth shut.
Right, right. And as long as she doesn't win.
Yes, that too.
Yeah.
Right.
So this ended in a nice way, right? This ended in a nice way. Monty wins head of household.
Hmm.
How do we feel about this?
He
Nay-nay?
was like the one person in the leftovers that I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, is he in the
Yeah.
alliance? Yes. Do I fully trust that he's not gonna like shit on Taylor the whole like? No, I don't. I don't trust that. Like, if push comes to shove, that he would vote the correct way.
I agree.
Been like unnecessarily nasty at times. Not the last couple weeks, but like he like other than like some of the stuff the girls were saying, I felt and like Daniel, I felt like Monty was up there as one of the people really bashing Taylor more than some others. So I just felt like I don't know how secure I really feel. Like because we were discussing these scenarios last week also. Like what if it's a tie and Monty has to break the tie? Are we super confident
Right.
he would do what we wanted him to do? And I'm starting to feel more so now that he would, but I'm still a little nervous.
Yeah. Of everyone in the leftovers, he is the one that I trust the least.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are other people in that alliance that like make me a little nervous, but not that I fully don't trust other than Monty. Like him, I'm just like, I'm wary that he's like actually got the intentions of the alliance, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Although I do think that it really would not be in his best interest to go against it. Because you're not going to be with the numbers even still.
Sure, but I do wonder, like, let's say hypothetically, it comes down to some sort of a situation where, like, let's say we have Nicole and Taylor up, it's a tie, he has to break the tie. Is he going to show his cards? You know?
Right.
I worry.
Yeah, I worry. I guess at that point, I don't know. Maybe he would feel like it's not as big of a deal because hey, if I make the choice and I save Taylor over like a Nicole, if that's who's up, well now we've just sent Ameerah out, we've sent Nicole out. Like the numbers are so secure on our side now that maybe he feels that even if they get power, the other side gets power, maybe he'll still be. I don't know. He'll still be safe because he has the numbers. Maybe that's what he's thinking. I'm not sure.
I hope so.
Yeah. I hope not. I hope that's not the case. I hope he's fine. I'm feeling better about him as you know.
As the week has gone on, I do feel a little more secure, but there still is like in the back of my brain, you know?
Yeah, if anyone's gonna not go with the plan, it's gonna be him.
Right.
Yeah.
It's also interesting because like, and I know that when Terrence chose Monty and Joseph as his besties, they talked about this. Like Joseph made a comment like, if we get nominated, like we're pretty confident that Monty and I would have the votes and we could get Terrence out of here. Because that's the thing, like you can't just put Monty up; you got to put the whole crew up,
Right.
And then it's like,
right.
So yeah. But I don't know.
So let's see. So what happened after that? Really, nothing too earth-shattering, right? At least not in the episode itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. All we
was
really
really-
got. I'm trying to think. We got Nicole being mad that she didn't get the chance to say goodbye to her best friend,
Her
even though
best
she
friend
made
in the house.
her best friend that she's known for like 2 whole weeks.
Yeah.
Even though she did make it a point to take out time to say that she'll see her on Amazing Race.
Oh my god.
Gosh, we hope not.
That
no,
was
thank you.
That was the cringiest thing she could have done in that moment.
I know.
I
Oh my god.
hated that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so weird.
It was awful.
I'm so disappointed in her.
In Nicole?
Like,
Nicole?
Yeah, I was really excited about her. Like,
yeah,
going into this, like
It's
she
so
wasn't my
funny,
pick
too.
to win or anything, but I thought she'd be somebody I would still root for.
It's so funny to me because, like, aside from the fact she's been a bad person, point blank. Even that aside, she's just so terrible at the game. Like,
Yeah.
she's so bad at it. Her reads are awful. She doesn't know when to say things and when not to say them and who to not say them to. Her reads are so bad. She's so terrible at the game.
She is. She's really, really bad.
Even if she was a great person, she's bad at the game.
She's just bad.
I feel like she's like. It sounds like it feels like she's always yelling at people or talking down to somebody. Like even that conversation she was having, like it was only her, Alyssa, and Indy in the room talking about Ameerah going, and she's like yelling in their faces. I didn't even get a chance to say goodbye to my best friend. Like
right, like they wronged her.
Like, why are you yelling at them?
Did you see the clip of her like after Joseph had like said something about like, oh, you know, we have to talk or something, we have to talk later, and she was like, oh, I don't want to talk to you.
Yes.
I don't talk to you. Like, what do you mean? I tell you what to do. What are you talking about? I'm 41 years old. I'm like, what does any of that have to do with anything?
Right.
Which also, like, I did see that clip because
years old and you were totally blindsided. Like, so,
I did see that clip because I reposted it saying like, I keep forgetting until she brings it up that she's 42. Like that makes her superiority complex so much more irritating to me. Like you are grown. You're grown. Yeah. Why are you behaving like this?
And it was just so funny because like the Leftovers they've been putting on such a great performance and orchestrating all of this. So to hear like Nicole try to like put Joseph down as if he has no idea what he's doing and he doesn't know how to play this game at all, and that he doesn't talk game to her, she talks game and she tells him what to do, and it's like you just got blindsided. You said your best friend just left, like you have no idea what's going on. What are you talking about?
She and Daniel both have
you should be welcoming that conversation.
No, but both Nicole and Daniel have such a wild sense of self-importance and like superiority over all of like the quote unquote idiots in the house for people who have no idea what's going on. You know, like they're both so off, but they're like, these idiots, we're so much smarter than everybody else. And like that'll come into play as we get into like spoilery stuff that's coming. But like it's wild to me how confident they are knowing nothing about anything.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to get into more stuff because I don't know a lot of things. I don't know a lot of things. So Monty decides to put up Alyssa and Indy. Whatever. I don't really have strong feelings for or against this. Didn't really matter much to me. Because we also kind of know that was never really the plan anyway. So I don't really like care about this. We know that we want either Daniel or Nicole up there. So who cares about Alyssa and Indy? Whatever. So they're there.
Yeah. I was annoyed by Indy just being like, how dare you? I would never do this to you. It's like you are in an all-girls alliance targeting the men.
But not even that. Like, it bothers me when she's like, I would never do this to you. So if you were HOH, what would you do? You have to put up somebody. Like, that's the game. That's how it works. Someone has to do it to somebody every week. That's how it works.
She'd have to flip a pillow.
Like,
and not tell anyone what
the see, Gino doesn't know this story. There was an eviction at the very beginning of Big Brother Australia. Where like this woman had to decide like who to put on the block, and she's like, "No, don't make me do this! Don't make me do this!" And they're like, "What do you mean, don't make you do this? Like this is the damn game." Right. So she goes, "All right, I can't decide who," because she had to like choose between two people, whatever the scenario was. And so she goes, "I'm gonna flip a pillow," you know, right? But she never announced who was what side, right?
So but also, how can you tell? Like it's a pillow. Like they're both.
There were two different colors.
Oh, there are two different colors.
I'm thinking like a bed pillow, and I'm like, how do you know?
Oh no, it was like a big couch. Like throw pillow.
Sure.
Yeah, two different colors. So she flips it, and as it's in the air, people are like, "Wait, so who's what side?" And it falls, and she's like, well, Gina, it's you." And they're like, like that was not, that was such a farce.
Like, AKA, you really wanted to put up this person, but you don't want to tell anybody, so you pretended you were
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I expect Ingy to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I didn't do it. The pillow did it. You know,
destiny decided for me. I'm so sorry.
Exactly. It wasn't me. So stupid. So that's really it for the episode, right?
Yeah, the only other thing that we got in the episode, which we again spoke about a little bit last night, was some of the like Kyle, Alyssa stuff.
The forcing of this faux showmance.
Yeah. A faux-mance, if you will.
Oh.
A no-mance.
A no-mance.
I wish I had one. Sorry. Yeah, it's cringy. It's really, really cringy. It's not okay because she's like some little cute girl. He clearly
But it's
doesn't
also
want it.
like, but what's so crazy is that the episode didn't really give justice to that dynamic. And I heard somebody else, there was oh, I think I was listening to Taryn talk about it in like the other recap from the episode, that they were talking about, it seems like the producers are banking on like at some point maybe the tides will change and they'll want to experiment on this relationship a little bit more while in the house, so they don't want to like show it in a bad light in case this does become like the season showmance. But like I get that to a point, but also like on the flip side, she's making him so uncomfortable, and anybody who's watching it
Right.
on the feeds is seeing it so clearly. Like it's doing a disservice to Kyle to paint it like, oh, look at this cute little dynamic, when meanwhile she's like trying to walk in on him in the shower and she's trying to kiss his neck while he's telling her no, and like it's all just very icky.
Yeah, it is icky, and it's also icky because, like, when we saw this with Caleb, that's not how the edit read. You know,
Right.
it's almost like, because this is a female doing it to a male. All of a sudden, now it's innocent,
Right.
whereas like it's more predatory the other way, and it's like,
And what I was saying last night too is there has been a little bit of discourse on like, is this really a problem because Kyle is quote unquote leading her on? But like, he has expressed to some people like, maybe once we get outside of the house, I'd be willing to like look at this differently and explore that part of our relationship. Like, I do think she's cute, I do find her attractive, but like, he's very turned off by the fact that when he says, no, I don't want this, it doesn't matter if he is attracted to her or not. If he says he
Right.
doesn't want it, point blank, he doesn't want it. So that's a red flag. He also sees it as a red flag that like anytime he's speaking to Taylor or hanging out with Taylor, she gets so jealous and so possessive when like they've only known each other
Oh,
for 2
really?
weeks. Oh yeah. They've only known each other for 2 weeks and they're not dating. So like the fact that there's this weird possessive element he finds as a red flag, rightfully so. So to me, it doesn't matter if at points he's expressed maybe he might be into her. It doesn't make it okay.
Right. He's
Yeah.
saying no now.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
It's weird for
sorry,
No,
go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, is it weird for like production to push things like this, right? Like when like they're trying to push a showmance when one side is clearly not interested and is like, not comfortable with all the advances that like Alyssa's making and all that, right? And then, but then like they won't show certain things in the house because they don't want people to look bad, like like some of the race, the race related things that we've seen and microaggressions and stuff. It's like they want to ignore that because they don't want people to see that. But sure, we'll push this relationship where someone's clearly uncomfortable, and it's like,
But that's the thing, is that they're not showing that he's clearly uncomfortable. They're making it look
Yeah.
like this cute little dynamic of like, oh, I'm interested, but I don't really want to go for it because I'm shy. And they're not showing that like he doesn't want to go for it for all of these reasons and she's still pushing for it. They're not showing him saying he's not interested in having a relationship in the house and that she's then turning around and telling Indy, I think once, like as soon as he's done brushing his teeth tomorrow, I'm just going to jump up and kiss him. Like, I'm just going to do it. They're not showing when he's showering and she keeps getting closer to the shower and he's covering himself like, can you go away, please? Like, they're not showing those pieces of it. They're just showing the back and forth, like he's giving her a really long hug and he's telling her like she's important to him. They're having like the nice conversations. That's what they're showing because they're trying to push this narrative that it's like this cute little will they or won't they.
Right.
Interesting.
The whole thing is just cringy.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is just the way we edit this show, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Well,
No, it is.
Oh.
It's a shame.
you know what else
No.
I enjoyed from the episode, by the way?
What's that now?
Was like getting to see the leftovers do their whole celebration. I loved watching them. We got to see Monty's like HOH room.
Oh
and
yeah,
they
the
were all
little
up
like
there.
storage room dance that they did in the HOH.
And Brittany started saying like, so it's pretty much just the leftovers and a bunch of like the other people in the house. And we're just waiting because we just want to talk and have our moment and figure out what we're doing. It was so much fun to watch them dance around.
That moment on feeds was so funny too, because like you could feel the tension where it was just the leftovers and Indy sitting there and it was like awkward and it was quiet. And then I think she got called to the diary room and she was like, oh, okay, like I'll be right back. And she's walking out and everyone's dead silent, just watching her walk across the room out the door. And she's like, okay, bye. And they're all just kind of watching silently, waiting. It's so awkward. It's so quiet. And the moment that she closes the door, they like watch on like the little feed that they have in the HOH room to see like where people are, and they see her get like just out of earshot, and then they were like like just immediately like so excited, and I was like, oh, this is so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I would have been uncomfortable if I was Indy. Like,
right, but that's like she somehow like it didn't look like she clocked it.
This
But
is
I was
like,
like,
how do you not
I was like, I'm
realize
so
that?
uncomfortable.
Oh God! Like, how do you not realize that what you're walking out on? No one is leaving with you. Like,
if you're walking out of the room and everybody is watching you to see the moment that the door is closed, they're waiting for you to leave. Like,
yes. Oh God! Like, yeah. How don't you clock that?
Oof.
Is it time for spoilers?
Is it?
I think
you tell me.
I think it is.
It might be, right? Yeah.
I think that's really the end of the episode.
I have one more thing, and it has to do with Jasmine. Okay.
Oh no.
This moment where it's her, Alyssa, Indy, maybe Daniel, I forget who else was sitting in the bathroom. And Jasmine had this whole thing. Like, the only thing that hurts, the only thing I'm pissed off about is that Taylor knew about the vote before me. Like, what the hell is that? Like, oh my God. Like, she just cannot get over Taylor. She's obsessed with her, I feel like.
None of them. Everyone's issue was, and Taylor knew. And that what got me, and I saw a couple people talking about this on Twitter too. I think it was like right after that clip was like Jasmine's little DR where she's like complaining about it. And like, you could tell that she's trying so hard to find something specific to complain about with Taylor, but there's nothing to complain about. So she was like, and Taylor, she's like, I don't know. Like, she couldn't say anything because there's nothing real to complain about. And it was like,
yes. I definitely picked up on this too. The one thing she was like, yeah, you know, Taylor, she's always like, she sneaks around and sometimes and like, it's like okay, that sounds really
playing
awful.
The game, like
yeah, it's like somebody's trying to keep a secret in the Big Brother house. My God. And she had some stupid comment too. She was like, "Snakes do it better than you." I was like, "What does that even mean?"
Shut up.
She just needs something to say because now, like, her clock is ticking already.
Yep.
Yeah. So she's just got to get in there as much as she can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it like, I laughed a lot at that DR too, because like every single time we've seen her in the DR, she's doing some like cute country thing, like saying like blindside butterbeans, like these stupid things or whatever. And in this moment, like she completely dropped the accent. She completely dropped the cuteness. And she was like, I hate Taylor. And it just immediately got nasty. Yeah. And I was like, oh, so we're showing the casuals who you are as a person this time.
Here
cool.
She
Love
is.
that for me.
Here she is. Yep. The makeup's off. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh,
I did actually just remember one other thing from the episode. It has to do with Alyssa and Kyle. Did we mention this when Joseph caught wind that Alyssa has this person at home? Because Kyle found out about it too. Yeah, because Kyle found out about it too. Then which I think also contributes to this whole thing. I'm sure that he has something for her, right? But like, he now has also learned, this has to be pretty new, he's now learning that she apparently has a person at home. So like, he's already not interested in getting involved in something in the house. Now he knows that outside of the house she has somebody too. So who knows how that'll affect if he wants anything at all, whether inside or outside.
What was interesting though is if memory serves, that conversation happened like a couple of weeks ago. That wasn't like this week. That wasn't footage that they edited in from the last couple of days. I feel like that conversation happened a while ago, and I don't think I've heard them really talk about it since. So it was like, it was interesting to me that they included that in the edit, because I feel like it just hasn't been a talking point since that moment.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's just because that kind of blew up on Twitter a little bit for a minute, but I don't know. Because around the time that like her guy from back home started posting stuff on Twitter, that was when that conversation happened.
Yeah, it makes sense. That makes sense though. I think it was just the way it was like edited, because they showed Joseph like telling Kyle about this right before they then showed Kyle like apologizing to Alyssa for not filling her in on the vote. So it made it seem like it was now this added layer of like, oh, this is also happening right now. But they, like you said, they probably just recycled footage.
I will say too, like, yeah, I do believe that there is some piece of Kyle that does have feelings for her in some way. But like, to be fair, I feel like from what we're seeing, most of their relationship is him getting information from her from the other side and like then not giving her any information back. Like, I feel like his closeness with her is kind of dependent on like, all right, so what can you tell me about the other side of the house? Also, like, hi, so good to see you. Wow, so cute. What can you tell me about what you've been hearing? You know?
It's true. Well, that's it. I'm sorry. That's all I had for the episode. I can't.
Why are you sorry? That's literally the podcast.
No,
the whole reason why we're here.
because we were at the 18-minute mark, and we were like, we ready for spoilers? And then
okay, and we weren't
like,
ready for spoilers. Like,
yeah,
I was like, I have one more thing. That's what
the podcast is.
Who cares? But now we're ready for spoilers.
Yes,
I think so.
Yeah. So, fall off at this point if you're not interested. All right. This is it.
Bonk,
Just
bonk,
a
bonk.
warning. Bonk, bonk.
Bonk,
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 bonk, bonk, bonk. Yeah. So now, everything's all bungled. So Daniel was supposed to be the target.
Was he originally the target?
I think that
That's
was the
what I
order
thought.
I think
had
that's what
said
they
Daniel,
originally
then
had laid
Nicole.
out. Yeah, Ameerah,
okay.
Daniel, Nicole was what I was
Gotcha.
thinking.
Yeah. And now that's been flarned because Daniel and Kyle win the veto, apparently. Yeah.
Which,
So
and this
now-
is what like got us into the conversation where like, let's say one person wants to use it and the other person doesn't. What happens?
Right.
Because in my head, it's like, all right, well, like if Kyle wants to use the veto to then backdoor Nicole, but Daniel doesn't want to use it, what happens now? That was like I'm still confused about that dynamic.
Well, from what it sounds like they both had the choice to do whatever they wanted. From what I was watching on the feeds and seeing on the feeds, Kyle was talking to some of the leftovers, some of the people in the. It might have been.
Yeah,
actually,
but that was about what they wanted to do.
No. This was like today. This was like a couple hours ago. Like Kyle was talking to people in the HOH room, being like, "Yeah, because I think they were considering not using it, just going after Alyssa because Taylor wasn't 100% comfortable going on the block."
There was a lot of flip flopping of what the plan was in the last 24 hours.
And Kyle was like, yeah, Daniel then was the one coming down to me saying, I'm going to use the veto. I want to use the veto. I want to do this. And he was like, there was nothing I could do. So like, you know what I mean? Like that makes me feel like Kyle wouldn't have had a say in whether or not Daniel got to use it then. You know what I mean?
But
like,
that's so unfair to me. Like that doesn't make any, to me, that doesn't make sense. That feels like it's just screwing one of the people. Like, so if I want to use it, it automatically gets used, even though for your game, it's better not to. You don't have a say. You don't get to control it, even though you were an equal part in winning the veto. That doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah, no, I not that I disagree with you. Just the way, and I could be totally wrong, but the way that Kyle was
that's what people were like.
everybody.
What I had like posed the question, and that's kind of the response I was getting: is if one person wants to use it, it gets used. But that feels like a shitty way to go about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right, especially because part of the reason you win veto is to make sure it doesn't get used.
Right.
Yeah, you're doing exactly the opposite of what I want. So my win meant nothing because I still had no control.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a problem. Now, what if?
I guess we'll find out on Wednesday, though.
I was gonna say, what if you got to just veto one person? But then that
because of the besties, yeah.
Right. That totally ruins it because of the whole besties thing. And then it's like, oh, well, then you can separate them. And it's like, well, then you shouldn't have, you wouldn't be in this position without the bestie thing anyway.
And because what I think John was saying yesterday was like posing, oh, it's 2 vetoes. And that would make sense to me if you could one person takes one person off and the other one's like, no, I don't want to use that. But because they have to be nominated in pairs, that can't be the answer.
Right. Yeah.
Unless I was interpreting it that way, but like what Kyle was saying, Daniel was so dead set on using it that I thought it would look weird if I was like so gung ho not using it. Maybe that's what it was. Like
no, because I was watching those clips too. What he was saying was Daniel wanted to use it, so we had to.
Right. Okay, then I really don't know. I'm curious to see how it plays out on Wednesday, but the whole thing just seems very like disorganized and messy to me.
It feels like they didn't think it through.
Right.
Yeah. Festy bestie, what a fail. But so Daniel and Kyle won veto. So it got used because Daniel said so. Okay, and as
this
a
is
result, Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying this house the last like 24 hours has been wild. There was like a piece where the leftovers, for whatever reason, I missed the beginning of this, but there was some reason, maybe it was because Taylor didn't feel comfortable, but there was a reason why they decided maybe we should just keep everything the same and Alyssa's the target this week. And that was what, like, last night into this morning, that's what they were kind of saying is like, all right, this is what we want now. Like, we'll shelf the Nicole plan for later. I don't know if it was because Taylor didn't feel comfortable or they didn't know if they would have the numbers for sure, because it would be a weird, like, split and tiebreaker situation potentially. But they decided keep the nominations the same. Alyssa is the target. Then there was a conversation between, I think it was Monty and Daniel, where Monty basically told Daniel, like, I don't want you to use the veto, and painted it to him as like, I don't know if you would be able to keep Nicole safe if you used it. So for right now, like, just don't use it this week, to try to like play to him. And
was he saying that? Because I saw something that like Monty was telling Daniel or telling somebody that like Nicole won't have Jasmine, Indy, or Alyssa's votes or something like that. Was that something that was out there?
Maybe I didn't see the conversation. I was just like picking up tweets or whatever, but it looked like he was just basically telling Daniel, I don't know if you'd have the votes to keep Nicole, so don't use it this week. And he was being genuine because the plan now became, let's get Alyssa out. But to my point earlier about bad reads and thinking they're outsmarting everybody else, Daniel was like, oh, he's trying to like keep me from using it because now he wants to get rid of. No, we're not going to make it easy for them to get rid of Alyssa. Alyssa's a number for me. I want to keep Alyssa and Indy because I trust them. Joke's on you. I'm going to use the veto. Then Nicole and Taylor can go up and Taylor's going home. So because he thought he was smarter than everybody else, he created a situation where he is backdooring his best friend in the game. And him and Nicole were walking around the house like, oh, these idiots. They're so stupid. Yeah. I can't believe they were trying to get me to not go on the block. What a crazy thing. And it's like, do you realize that you're celebrating your own eviction right now?
Oh my gosh. Is this going to be a better blindside than last week? I think it is.
I think
these are the real fireworks.
I don't understand how their reads are so wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only issue is that it might not end up being like an actual blindside, because I think it might, like, especially if, say, like Indy, Jasmine, because I saw Nicole talking about that too, how Jasmine apparently was saying she wants to be on the right side of the vote and stuff. So if anybody catches wind that like Nicole is leaving, it could end up being in like a landslide, which I also wouldn't mind either way. I would love a blindside, but landslide's not bad either.
As long as she's leaving, I don't care how it happens, honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
But it's just so like perfect that it's Daniel that was insisting on using the veto to do this.
After he was warned not to.
The leftovers were so content with sending Alyssa home, and Daniel is the reason why his closest ally is going to leave. He did it. Everyone was totally fine not going along with that plan anymore.
Which I'm kind of glad that that's not the plan anymore anyway. I think getting Alyssa out right now is a total waste.
Yeah.
So, like, what is she doing that's, like, at least game-wise, that is, like, worth her leaving right now? There are bigger problems.
Especially,
I think it's
like,
just so... I think it's so important to get Nicole and Daniel out.
Right.
Like, I don't want either of them in jury, but you have to at least split them up. Don't let them get into a jury house and then, like, you know, like sort of influence anyone in any way. Huh?
Right. And don't let them get into a chance so they can get HOH.
That's what I was going to say. Like, it is the jury piece. And, like, yeah, getting rid of Alyssa still gets rid of one of their numbers and one of their quote unquote friends in the house. Like, I get that. But the bigger problem is you want to get rid of Daniel and Nicole as soon as possible, because if one of them wins power, you're screwed, you know?
Yeah.
You need to be able to take out as many of their numbers as you can from that side of the house in general. But also, Alyssa winning HOH is significantly less scary than Nicole or Daniel winning HOH, especially because, in theory, Alyssa's HOH could be influenced by Kyle anyway.
Yeah, it very easily could be. Mm-hmm.
Nicole and Daniel aren't going to listen to nobody.
No. No. It would be interesting to see, though, what would Daniel do? Like, let's just say it was like Daniel, like, let's just say Daniel won HOH.
I think he's putting Taylor up no matter what, because according to him, he Taylor's the one. She's the one that sent Paloma home and ruined her mental health, and he's
I know,
not going to let it.
But are you also on your HOH? You're gonna put up Nicole too? Would you really? I guess maybe you.
Last
would.
week, Last week,
He
Nicole
put her
was
up this week.
asking. Last week, Nicole was asking to be on the block. The reason why she was so upset with Ameerah and Terrence. Ameerah, yeah. The reason why she was so upset with Ameerah and Terrence going up is because she didn't get put on the block. And that's what everybody was like. I've never seen someone so angry to not be put on the block in my whole life, because she was so mad because she was dying to go on the block because that quote unquote guaranteed Taylor was being sent home. So yeah, if Daniel won the HOH, she would be begging to go up on the block because we were so certain that they had.
Oh my gosh, this is so crazy.
It's idiotic. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Nicole was all over the place.
She's a mess.
I can't wait to see what Daniel does when she leaves. I mean, he is just going to have an absolute meltdown.
And that's why I don't remember if you said it or if I heard somebody else somewhere else say it, but I'm glad that it worked out in this way, because to me, sending out Daniel and watching Nicole unravel is so much less satisfying, because Nicole's already been so off the rails. Watching Nicole leave and Daniel unravel because of it, that's delicious. I want that. I want to see him fly off the handle. We've been new. Nicole is crazy. Fine, whatever. I don't need that anymore. I want to see Daniel now have to deal with the aftermath. That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll get another Shima situation out of him.
Do you think he'd be that bad?
I don't know. When I think back to that, just even that interaction that he had with Taylor in the bathroom, and how it, with no shame, like just in front of the whole rest of the house, behaving like that.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. This man seems pretty unhinged.
Would he go so far as to throw away the entire game because Nicole got sent home? Like, I don't know if he would go that far. Or maybe he would. I don't know.
I don't know that he would intend to.
Fair.
As crazy as it sounds, too, I wonder if Nicole helps to keep him at bay, like even the tiniest little bit. Because there was a moment on feeds. They're so gross. They're disgusting. I hate both of them so much. And Kyle was actually talking to a bunch of people about how Taylor went out in the backyard, was wearing like her high heels. I tweeted about this earlier. Was wearing her high heels, her bathing suit, and they were like just talking about like they were just talking all this shit about her because she was just out in the backyard, hanging out,
living her life.
Yeah, living her life, just breathing out in the backyard. And they're making all these comments about her, and Nicole is like, Daniel, stop. She's just trying to get a rise out of you. It's like as if she's even giving you guys a thought. And and I'm like, what would Daniel have done if Nicole wasn't there to say that to him? Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. As much as they like also egg each other on, like maybe he would have gone outside and like said something to her. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I love the idea that they genuinely think that that Taylor is like lounging out in the backyard to spite Daniel. Like that everything she does in the house is with the specific intention. Like just let the girl tan. Leave her alone.
And it's like, why do you think she cares so much about you?
Right.
Like, what is that?
Leave her alone.
Right.
Yeah. It's really weird. It's really weird. And the fact that like the way that they act and the way that sometimes they even speak in their DRs and stuff, it's like, no, we really think that America agrees with us.
Oh,
like,
they're certain that everyone hates Taylor.
Exactly. Exactly. Like that. I can't wait to see what that looks like when Nicole leaves. And she realizes that's not it.
There is nothing more that I want than for Nicole and Daniel to both leave pre-jury so we can watch them watch the season and watch them look at BB Twitter and see how much they fucked up. Like that is all I want. I don't want to have to wait until finale when they can be like, you didn't see everything. I want them to see everything right now.
Yeah, I really can't wait. I really want it so bad. But did we say that this is what happened? That Nicole and Taylor are on the block?
I don't think we actually said.
We've just been all over.
We did say. We kind of did say.
Yeah,
but yeah. So now basically, at Daniel's hand, because he had to use the veto.
because everyone else is clowns and they're stupid and he knows better than everyone.
And that's what I'm saying. He is going to have like a Shima meltdown.
It's going to be so sweet on Thursday to watch them realize that they're idiots. Oh, I'm so excited.
I know.
Yeah, these are the real
It's really
fireworks.
It's really something wild too. Like I don't know, like just to go back to the Nicole thing and how like out of touch and clueless she seems to be. Like on last night's episode, we watched her like yelling at Alyssa and Indy, like, I had to say goodbye. I didn't even get to say goodbye to my best friend in the game. They made me go to Terrence and say goodbye. Like that, she was saying, like, they made me go to Terrence. And said, nobody made you do anything. And like, just treat Terrence as if he was already out of the game and like a dead man walking. No one made
that was you
that.
being an idiot. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, you did that. You did that.
And then tonight on the feeds, it was Taylor and Terrence talking. This was so great. Terrence was just going, saying to Taylor about Nicole, I'm going to give you the same outro you gave me, but I'll give it to you in your goodbye video. I don't want to waste saying goodbye until it's goodbye. It's good because you don't just go up to someone and be like the day before they've even left, before the eviction's even happening, and say, man, I'm sorry, this is your last night here. I mean, you want me to cook you like your last meal in the house? It's like,
while
you go to that person and say, fight for your votes, fight to stay here. What are you doing?
While in the same breath, she's shitting on somebody else for the way they talk to people. Like, you have no awareness.
Right.
None.
God, it's unbelievable. It's honestly unbelievable.
I can't wait. I can't wait for Thursday.
Oh, it's going to be real nice. It's going to be real nice.
Do we have anything else?
There was something we were talking about on the space a little that you had said you wanted to revisit, and that was Kyle.
What about Kyle?
Because we were talking a little bit about the things that we were hearing of Kyle preseason.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, like some of the MAGA stuff that we thought we heard and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't know what I wanted to revisit.
So, I mean, we were talking a little bit about how, like, because we're surprised, right, that, like, people like Kyle and Turner have turned into people that we are starting to like on this game.
Kyle is at the top of most people's list. Like, he's really shot up to being one of the more likable people this season. Right.
And one of my thoughts had been, like, I wonder if it's some of it for Kyle, especially for Kyle, coming from such a sheltered upbringing, how much of what we might have seen of him outside of here, have seen in his past that people can dig up from years ago on social media, is him or sort of him being influenced by other factors like his parents or the Mormon church or anything like that, right? Like he did make the decision himself to leave the Mormon faith, right? So he's made that decision. He's auditioned for this TV show where you meet all different types of people from all over the country and in some cases from different countries. You know what I mean? Like it's like we might be seeing in this house in a way like the real Kyle or how Kyle actually sees himself. You know what I mean? So who knows? Whatever we've seen on social media, maybe he does believe it. Maybe he doesn't believe it at all. Maybe it's part of just his upbringing, and that's why he's had these views, why people thought he's had these views. But I think it says something about him that he would step outside of that, where he, what he's known his whole life, what he was brought up in, being a Mormon, and then now, choosing to leave that, branching out and coming on this show. This might be like the real Kyle that we're seeing now. Honestly, that's kind of something that I was thinking about last night.
Because even from my understanding, I can only go, I didn't do a ton of digging myself. I can only go based on what BB Twitter was kind of unearthing in the preseason chatter of like everybody. They were doing deep dives on everybody. And I know that we saw pictures of Kyle with like AR-15s and things of that nature. And I don't know if we actually saw any proof of his political affiliations or whatever, or if we saw that picture and equated it to a certain political belief. So I don't know for sure if there is any actual proof that was his affiliation or if we just kind of assumed. But it brings up an interesting point of like, because I have seen a lot of people being like, I just wish he would somehow address this on the feed so we would know if that's where he leans or not, which like, it's not really something I could see coming up in conversation in the Big Brother house. Like, I don't know.
And address what? Like, because if he doesn't really think he did anything wrong, there's nothing like really to address. Like, what if he's just a guy that like likes guns and actually just owns them legally? Like, that doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Like,
it's true.
Because I haven't seen anything that like really gave me any red flags with him.
Right.
At all.
Neither have I.
Yeah. I mean, I've liked watching him. At least the last couple of weeks I have on the show. So
Yeah.
what we've
I mean,
seen.
I will say he's one of the best players in the house. He's just very, very
Yeah.
good at playing the game. I love how it was part of the duo that brought Taylor in and made her a part of something. Like I really enjoy watching him in the way that he's been playing.
Yeah.
And same thing with Turner, who we talked about last night too. I mean,
Yeah.
what we said last night, Kyle. I know
Okay,
you
good.
said this. Like you've said this, Kyle. How much of what we might have heard about Turner right outside was sort of about the, sort of about like just family, like trying to air your dirty laundry out, and somebody's trying to call you out on social media, not giving the full story.
Yeah, Turner
Right,
was getting
'cause-
slammed preseason.
Yeah, he really was, because of this one thing that his sister said, and it's like, you don't really know what this family is going through. You have you have no idea. That is her view of this. Like maybe she was taking. Well, I don't even want to go that far, taking advantage or anything like that. How dare I even like comment that much? You know what I mean? Like we don't know what the situation is like around that,
Right.
And why maybe Turner maybe had convinced her, if that's even true at all.
Right. Well, because you know what, too? Like, I think I was talking to you about this last night. I feel like, what if there was some truth to it, right? Like, what if Turner did, like, push in their family? The big accusation was that, like, his sister said, oh, Turner forced my mom to kick me out of the house and blah, blah, blah. Like, for all we know, she should have been kicked out of the house.
Yeah, we don't know anything about you.
Like, we don't know anything about this. Some stranger.
Right. It really is just
internet.
like word of mouth, and you either believe her or you don't. Like it's there's no proof to any. Like it's, and that's why it gets so hard preseason, because like we're dealing with the crumbs that we're finding out about these people, and it's like we're just like there's nothing else to go by.
All we got was that some person on the internet came on and said, this is my brother and he's really mean and he forced my mom to kick me out of the house. We have no idea what the conditions were surrounding that, what the situation was, if it actually happened, how it happened, nothing like that. These are all strangers to us. So, and Turner's been one of the only people that we've actually seen own up to any of his actions and take responsibility for anything that's gone on in there. So, and called people out on their shit. So, like, Turner and Kyle, two people that I expected to hate. Turner was my first boot pick. I've liked them. They're like, it's Taylor up here, and then, the rest of the leftovers a little bit down lower.
There's also something to be said about a family member that wants to air their dirty laundry like that with the intention of bringing the other person down. Because that's why she did it. She said, oh, don't believe what you're going to be seeing of him. Don't believe this. Don't believe that. And it's like, who does that? Like you're actively...
It was an immediate, like, my brother is going to be on this TV show, so I want you to know he's a bad person. Like,
yes, like who does that? Like so pointed and like so intentional. It wasn't just like, oh, these are just some tweets that were unearthed that the sister had posted or something. This was something she did that was reactionary, and I don't know, like,
which also that day was wild on BB Twitter. I think she highly underestimated BB Twitter, because I don't know if you were seeing this, but like her whole thing was like she was accusing him of being racist and like all of this stuff, and then like one person was like, okay, let's go back in time and look at like all of her past tweets, and saw that like she was tweeting a bunch of racist shit in the past, and they were like, I don't know how you're going to try to make him look bad when this is your Twitter history. And it's like, ooh, this girl did not know BB Twitter.
Now, can I ask you, because I honestly don't remember. All I remember is that there was a lot of negativity around Turner when we got the cast list. So, and I do vividly remember all the tweets of the sister that were dragged out, things that she said. Were there ever actually any screenshots or old tweets brought out from anything that Turner said? Do you remember?
Not that I saw. From what I had seen, it was just her account of who he is.
Right. So she was just kind of giving stories about horrible things that her brother had done to her, and then all the things she accused him of were things that people found her doing.
Twitter.
Right. From my understanding, from what I saw, that's the fact. I don't know if maybe I missed some sort of screenshot of his tweets, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't see them.
Like, I made my like preseason picks based on this nonsense.
Well, that's all we had.
God.
And I will say my other, and I had said this to you guys in the group chat a couple days ago. One of my favorite BB Twitter things that's happening right now started happening on the heat, like during Turner's HOH, and it was with Joseph and it was with Turner. That like The leftovers started happening right after Joseph's 25th birthday. So no, anytime that you're saying nice things about Joseph, it's Joseph 25. Like thing, nice thing about Joseph.
yes.
And with Turner, it's Turner clean. Da 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 da
Yes.
da. And it sends me every time. It's so stupid and it's so funny.
Speaking of clean, I hear that Jasmine also does not shower.
Oh no.
I
The
heard it
whole discourse after Turner won HOH was, damn, that's gonna be a nasty HOH room. You're going from Jasmine to Turner, the two dirtiest people in the house. Like, yeah,
It's so disgusting.
people are
I
like
heard
watching,
she-
waiting for them to shower. It's nasty.
And then I
I
heard
heard
that
she
like
laid-
apparently like Jasmine was like getting in Alyssa's bed with her
Right, yeah, that's what I
unshowered
was just gonna
self.
say.
Yep.
But she hasn't showered
Ah.
for 3 days, I think Alyssa said. She was like, oh, she hasn't showered for 3 days and she gets in my bed.
No.
It's disgusting.
Because they were saying after when Turner won HOH, people were tweeting like, damn, they're gonna have to fumigate that HOH room after this HOH. Like if I was the next HOH after the two of them, I'm like, I'm not getting in that bed.
Oh my god.
That's disgusting. They really upset me.
Especially like it's upsetting in general, but like I guess do whatever you want to do in your personal life or like whatever. If you know you're gonna be on TV and people can watch you 24/7, wouldn't you think you'd try to be a little cleaner?
Well, no, because they don't think that we see that much. That's what I keep
Alyssa
reading.
was just saying. Yeah, I was literally watching the feeds right before we got on, right? And Alyssa was sitting in the HOH room talking to like Monty and Michael, being like, yeah, they're always shutting off the feeds. Like they just show like little glimpses. So like people probably don't really see that much on the feeds. Like Alyssa was just saying that like 20 minutes before we started.
Oh,
We were all as all these people are watching.
Yeah. They're really in for a rude awakening. When they
like
get
we
out
can
of here.
literally, if I wanted to, I could post up for 12 hours and watch you sleep through the entire night if I wanted to. Like,
and that's a shame. That's a shame. That kind of makes me a little concerned for her. Because when she gets out of here and she realizes like
how much we saw.
Yeah, like I don't know. I'd be embarrassed. I'd be so embarrassed. You look like such a clown.
Yeah.
Especially if she goes out like later.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the longer she stays in there, the more embarrassing this gets. So
yeah,
can thank Daniel for that too. Because you're a number.
That's what got me about. I don't remember if we talked about it on the podcast or if it was just a space thing, but with like Paloma's stupid TikTok being like talking about how like they edit the feeds and I'm like, they edit the feeds. Do you know what live feed means?
No.
By the way, I love the way like you said that, like emphasize the her stupid TikTok.
I mean, come on. If you genuinely, in your heart of hearts, believe that you can come on here and say, Taylor is one of my best friends. You missed us like rectifying the issue and becoming friends. Also, she bullied me the whole time. Like, girl.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
And then the examples, like I dropped a piece of pineapple and she made a condescending comment. And the comment was, oh no, not the pineapple. That's what the comment was.
What a terrible bully. Oh no. I'm so sorry, Paloma, that you had to deal with these living conditions. I'm so sorry.
Ridiculous. My God.
Oh my God.
All right. There's nothing else for the benefit of the community.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think that's it.
We're back on Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. with the Challenge USA. And then on Thursday, 10:30 for the Nicole eviction party.
Oh God,
Yeah, that'll be a fun night. We should invite.
It's gonna be
somebody.
nice.
Yeah,
We should invite a guest.
Yeah, we should have somebody on for Thursday. We'll discuss it offline. Find us on the socials at BB Jury Duty or on our website at bbjuryduty.com. And that's it. Thanks a lot. Good night and all that such.